universe.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name's David Nolan. I live in Perth, Western Australia, but I was born and brought up in Britain, and I have a science degree from Cambridge University. For pretty much all of my life, I've been interested in how the world works, not just the scientific side, but also how society works, how people interact to get the results we see around us. Over the years, I've got in the habit of analysing what's called the conventional wisdom, what we're generally told are the views of the experts on all sorts of topics. Now, I'm continually surprised to find out how many of these views, how much of the conventional wisdom we rely upon is wrong. Sometimes completely wrong, more often just skewed because one of the underlying assumptions that the views rely on is wrong. You'll find my thoughts on various topics up on my website, aoi.com.au. Mnemonic is always of interest, although that wasn't the origin of the site name. Here's a little advert for the site. Now, for a sample of some of the worst misconceptions current, look at the Occam's universe on AOI. This has stuff on the physical cosmos. It's intended for any interested people and isn't very technical or complex. Now, here today specifically, we're talking about origins of the universe, and my model is called the Placid Universe model, and essentially it's extremely simple. It's what I call Occamized, which means that we've used Occam's razor, which is a principle which says if you're presented with various alternative possibilities, you should always take the simplest. It was invented by William of Ockham, who was a monk, an English monk in the 1300s, but it's got tremendous application over any position where you have to decide between different alternatives. And the Placid Universe model is completely simple. It says is infinite in space and time, and so it has no creation time. There is no expansion. It's pretty much the same from one millennium to the next. And it rules out the Big Bang Theory because there's no reason for it. Now, there's a couple of major problems with the Big Bang, which I'll just go into here. It's really one of the major mistakes in science, and I'll point out two assertions which are just plain wrong. One of them is common sense, and the other is more science. Now, the common sense item is, according to the Big Bang Theory, the universe exploded out of pretty well nothing from a small point around 14 billion years ago, and it's been expanding ever since. Now, if this is really true, then if we look back at the universe as it was in the past, then it should be more tightly packed than it is now. And we can do this because the light we see in our telescopes from distant objects started off well back in the past. So we look at galaxies from about 7 billion years ago. The light which we see from them started off 7 billion years ago. The images we see, which they're of the universe at the time which the Big Bangers think is half the age of the universe, are not showing any compression. If the Big Bang Theory was correct, these ancient galaxies, which should be packed together twice as tightly as they are now in the closer, much younger universe. Now, they aren't. Even out to 10 billion or more light years, which is about 3/4 of what the Big Bang say is the age of the universe. The images you get, like the Hubble Deep Field images from the Hubble telescope, show a packing which is pretty much just like the closer galaxies, those that are closer to the time. So that's a common sense item which relates to how closely the galaxies are packed. Now, the root science item, there's a basic scientific law called the law of conservation of mass energy. And that states that the mass and energy in the universe can be converted to other forms, but can't be created or destroyed. That's a basic part of physics. You can't create or destroy matter or energy. You can convert them into different forms, and you can convert them into each other, but you can't create from nothing. Now, no instance has ever been found in science where the law is not obeyed. It's one of the basics, and yet the big theory completely contravenes this fundamental law. It tells us that matter and energy have been created from nothing and are continuing to be created. So in a way, it's astonishing that some people who call themselves professional scientists can accept the law of conservation and still believe in the Big Bang. Now, there's many other reasons which show that the Big Bang theory is wrong. One of the particular papers I've got on this, articles up, is this one here, RIP Expanding the Universe.
Can you hold it up a little higher? That paper, did you have a, yeah, okay, go ahead.
RIP Expanding the Universe. And that gives a more detailed and scientific evaluation. So that's pretty much the position as it stands.
Okay, thank you, David.